Okay, hold up. Don't just drop a comment and head out. Hear me out for a second. The Apple Watch, the top-selling smartwatch in the world, is getting topographical maps with elevation details and trail names. It's getting new cycling metrics with Bluetooth connection options for speed cadence sensors or power meters, along with new software that will automatically estimate your FTP and establish zones. It's also getting offline maps and even the ability to import workouts from places like Training Peaks. So kill, sure, absolutely kill's a strong word here. But don't you think that Garmin's at least feeling some pressure here from Apple? Okay, so back it up for a second. This week, Apple announced quite a few things, but among them was a first look at WatchOS 10. That's the operating system for the Apple Watch. And at a first glance, it looks pretty similar. There's, a few new watch faces, but for the most part, it's still watchOS. The applications still have the option to be viewed as a grid view or a list view. There are some subtle changes to the grid view, but if you scroll up from the basic watch face screen, you'll now see an all new widgets view. And what's cool here is that these are actually ordered intelligently based on whatever you've been using your watch for in the past. For example, if you have a timer running on your watch, it might show that at the top of the stack here. Apple calls this their smart stack, and it is editable. For example, I'm really trying to work on my sleep. So personally, I might add that as one of my widgets. But of course, I'm excited to see what any of the third-party developers are gonna do with this kind of widget glance area. There's also been some minor updates to some of the native Apple Watch applications. I'm a huge fan of closing my rings each day. I know it's weird, but I like doing it. And this new Activities app now has some navigation elements just kind of built into each corner here. But one of the biggest updates for WatchOS 10 for a cycling nerd like myself is that now you can connect external Bluetooth sensors like speed, cadence, or even power meters to the Apple Watch itself. And you can see that data on the native cycling application. No third-party apps needed. And just to be clear, this is Bluetooth connected sensors, not Ant Plus. You shouldn't expect Ant Plus to come to the Apple Watch anytime soon, I wouldn't think. Well, actually, we don't know that for a fact. This is beta software, and I should probably be saying that after each sentence within this video. We don't actually know exactly what's gonna happen when this software comes out as a final release. Apple has released a public beta version of WatchOS 10, and Apple released a beta version to their developers. So all of this software, everything I say in this video, is subject to change. But in the announcement, they showed the new power data metric workout view. Personally, I had zero issues connecting it to my SRAM Quark power meter. And what's interesting here is that Apple can combine your heart rate, your power meter data, motion data, all to estimate your FTP. So that's your functional threshold power, or about how much power you can average for an hour if you just went all out. And cyclists tend to use that number to gauge fitness and to build workouts off of, and to determine specific training zones, which Apple can actually calculate for you based on that estimated FTP. And you can actually edit the number of zones within the application. So if you're a 5-zone guy as opposed to a 6-zone guy like myself, you should be able to just edit that how you'd like to see it. And I should also mention that an estimation of FTP won't show up immediately. It's not based off of one easy ride that you do. You'll need about 5 decently hard efforts before the watch establishes an estimated FTP value for you. Now, another thing that's cool that Apple has done here is that the Apple Watch can now use your iPhone as a cycling computer. And it's a significantly larger display. It's just mirroring the data that's on your Apple Watch onto your iPhone, and you can attach that to the front of your bike or however you want to display it. But if you guys know me, you know that I love a dedicated cycling computer. I was actually surprised, I played with this a little bit, and I was actually surprised at how much I liked using my iPhone on the bike. If you pause your ride on your watch, it'll pause it on the display of your iPhone, vice versa. It does feel very, it feels very instantaneous. It's a very cool feature, and I actually think a lot of people will enjoy using it as opposed to spending, an additional $400 on a cycling computer. And I think if it had the ability to tie in cycling radar information, man, I think it would be a killer feature. I would be over the moon excited about this to have this as an option for people. But again, this is just an early beta. I don't actually expect this to launch until, September or October of this year. So we really don't know exactly how any of this is gonna function. But I do have to give credit to Apple here for doing a good job of supporting older hardware. It looks to me like this WatchOS 10 is gonna be supported all the way back to Apple Watch 4. And again, I hope that other companies are looking at this. I would love to see other companies supporting older devices and making that a bit of a priority. Now, one spot that Garmin has always dominated is mapping and navigation, and that can be extremely helpful on an athletic watch. In Apple, they do have mapping built into the Apple Watch, but now you do have a few new additions. Now with the help of an iPhone, you can select an area and make an offline map, and that mapping data will be available to your Apple Watch. Second, the Apple Watch will now have topographical maps. The Map app is also adding points of interest, and they're adding trailhead information. Apple actually showed this during their demo, and they showed some pretty detailed trail details during their presentation, like trail name, trail difficulty, even a few photos here, which looks interesting. But they also said that they're starting all of this in the US, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see how all of this gets rolled out to the rest of the world. And then thirdly, the Compass app. The Compass app has been improved to automatically create waypoints for your last cellular connection location and where SOS is available. So that could be hugely important to you if you're out hiking and you need to get in touch with people. The Compass app will also show a little bit of elevation data. Now, there's no details on if we'll see mapping or improved routing and navigation within activities. For example, it'd be great to see mapping details when you're cycling or trail running. And I don't expect that we'll see anything like that yet, but who knows? Again, this is very early beta, so we really have no idea. But there is a new workout API for developers, and it sounds like companies like Training Peaks will be able to leverage this to be able to send workouts directly to the Apple Watch users from their app. And I've reached out to Training Peaks, about getting onto their beta program to kind of test out that particular feature, and I'll try to show it to you guys as soon as I see it in action. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of that stuff. Now, as far as I can tell, the iPhone is still required to set up the Apple Watch, which, if you think about it, is a huge burden for the worldwide popularity of this watch. Remember that the iPhone only accounts for about 30% of the worldwide smartphone market. So this watch is essentially walled off from 70% of the worldwide market, and it's still the most popular smartwatch in the world. And yes, there is a weird way that parents can kind of set up the watch for their kids, and their kids aren't required to have an iPhone. But in all reality, an iPhone is still required here. But as part of this announcement, Apple has also mentioned that the Health app is now going to be available for the iPad. And this is just, me reading into the tea leaves here, but I think it'd be cool to see Apple slowly start to loosen up the requirements for the Apple Watch. Requiring an iPad or an iPhone would be a small step forward. You can actually imagine the, possible increase in market size if an iPhone isn't required to have an Apple Watch. I don't see it happening anytime soon, but it's definitely fun to speculate on this stuff. But these WatchOS 10 announcements were only a very small part of this presentation. Apple also announced iOS 17 for the iPhone, their new Vision Pro mixed reality headset. Definitely comment below if you want to see me review that crazy thing. But to those of you who have already commented, you jumped on it and you said that Apple will never kill Garmin. I'm not here to disagree with you, but Garmin did post a revenue decrease of 27% in the first quarter of 2023 from their outdoor segment, and they were actually citing declines in their adventure watches on that particular issue. I'm not saying that Apple is killing Garmin here. I'm just asking the question, is Apple making progress? Should Garmin be worried? Should Garmin be, kicking it into high gear here? Should they be releasing more watch options? Let me know what you guys think. But either way, make sure that you're getting out there, swimming, biking, running, rinsing, and repeating it all over again. And we will see you guys on the next one.